Do you know what most successful people have in common? They accept personal responsibility for their successes and their failures. So, why is this important? Well, you probably know people, maybe your friends or your relatives, or maybe you, that sit around and complain about things all the time, right? They blame their situation on, their jerky boss or the company or politicians, the economy, or maybe even their ex-husband. But sitting around complaining about your circumstances does not serve you. And I'm sure you know that this is true. And it's an easy habit to fall into, but it doesn't help, does it? The people that accept responsibility when something doesn't go right and they say, well, okay, that didn't work. How could I do it better in the future? And if we apply this to personal finance, I think it's really important because put it this way, where you are today financially is the result of all of the financial decisions you've made to date. So think about that. We've all made financial mistakes. I'm not trying to sit here and say that I have never made financial mistakes. I have, but I've made more good decisions than bad. And as a result, I have been able to stop working over a year ago when I was 56 years old. And there is some sadness behind that as well. My son died suddenly after a brief illness. That's him back there, right up there. And yeah, why does a 56-year-old accountant have tattoos? Well, that's because of my son. Anyway, I digress. Once you decide to take responsibility for your successes and your failures, the sky is the limit. There's no limit to how much wealth you can build for yourself and how great a future you can secure for yourself. And I think that is an amazing feeling. And I want you to think about that because this can be you too. So this may mean that you say no to some things today so you can say yes to more things tomorrow. Because the truth is, again, the decisions you've made are the result of why you are where you are today. So if that's not where you want to be, then you might have to do things differently, right? And I like to ask people this question: where will you be 10 years from now if you're saving the way you're saving now and spending the way you're spending now and investing, of course? Where will you be? Will you have hit those financial goals, if you have any, or will you still be treading water? Because unfortunately, in our society today, it seems people are not that great about thinking about the future. They're not great about planning for it because it seems far away and hazy and all of this. And they seem to like to think that people that are financially successful are lucky. There's some magic to what they did. When the truth is, becoming wealthy is rather dull. It means you just set your financial goals and you say, this is what I need to do to get there, right? And it may mean you don't live, the lifestyle other people lead, but do those things even make you happy if we're honest? Of course, we all know about eating out too much and all of that. And today, I think I was reading something recently that Warren Buffett posted about 12 things people waste money on. And he talked about too many beauty creams. And I thought, oh boy, he doesn't know the half of it, right? I mean, with the fillers and the Botox and the all the things women do. Of course, I've done none of those except I have fake eyelashes on right now. But I mean, honestly, I even color and cut my own hair, and people laugh at me. It's not just because of money; it's because I'm really impatient, and I can't stand to sit there and wait in that chair. I think of women I worked with, peers of mine, that made healthy six-figure incomes. These are educated women with good careers, and they're simply not where they need to be financially. And it scares me to pieces. And why do I say I know that? Well, some of it's just conversation. They talk about this, that, or the other. But in my role as the accounting person, like the head of accounting, we would have to do year-end testing of like the 401k plan. And we would have to, they like to make sure that it's not just used by the execs. They want to make sure that people of all incomes aren't participating. So I'd look at this report. And I remember this one colleague, she and I started the exact same day. I made more than her, but not a lot more than her. And at the time we did this one report, we had both been there, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, I forget. But I had like 200,000 in my 401k and she had 20,000 in her 401k. And I'm thinking to myself, seriously? I mean, if you can't find enough money to save right now, how in the world are you going to live off that in the future, right? So that's someone who's in denial, right? And I think back, of course, I said I've made a lot of financial mistakes of my own, but when I really started to take my money seriously, I think of this one job that I had. I always had good jobs with good companies, but I really didn't have clear financial goals. I sort of kind of drifted along. But this one job I got I was like 33 probably when I got this job, and it was with remember those dummies books, the yellow and black dummies books? I worked for that company in San Mateo, California, and my colleagues there, they were all like really hardworking people, and it really lit me up, that whole environment. And this one, colleague, or two in particular I think of, were really good with their money. And I thought, I really need to get my act together, and I need to have goals and crush them. And so after, I did buy my first house, started really educating myself on investments because I didn't know that much about investing. So I just started reading everything I could, and this is, a long time ago by now, but the one colleague moved back to New York State, and he started investing in real estate. And I thought, you know what? I'm not getting a pension. I need future streams of income. I feel like you can't, I don't know, just saving a lot of money to live off scared me to pieces, because I thought, well, how do you know if you're going to save enough? So I liked the idea of real estate because I wanted those streams of income. So I started paying attention to him, and he was buying small apartment buildings in upstate New York. And I thought, oh, that sounds good. And I started looking into it. And the truth was, no one would give me a loan, a mortgage, because I had no experience, and, made sense. So I said, single family homes, that's what I'm going to do. I understand them. I've lived in them all my life. So I started buying single family homes, and my goal was to have 10 homes. So I started at age 40. I was going to buy a house a year till I hit 50. Then I was going to spend between 50 and 60 paying them all off, and then done, right? Well, life has other plans, right? So I actually made the mistake of buying low income homes, and it was a disaster. These tenants were awful. They had no respect for the properties, and I would have to put all this money in to fix them up every time a tenant flipped. Like, I'm talking like replacing carpeting, like major things. And then I had that larcenous property manager too. Yeah. So after a year or two, I realized this is not working. This is stupid. Why am I doing this? So I decided to sell them all. And this is what companies do, right? Companies shut down arms of their business all the time. They realize it's failing. And yes, it costs money to shut it down. And I felt like a jerk. Like, how much money did I waste on these homes? But the thing is, continuing to hold on to them wasn't going to make it any better. So as companies do, I shut it down, and I said, single family homes, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, built within the last 20 years. That's my new model. And that is what I did. And I did get to my 10 house goal, in a circuitous way, because life throws things at us. And I did, and I got there. And once you get there, you go, wow, I really did it on my own. I'm a single woman, raised 2 kids on my own, no husband. I did it. And now I'm selling all of them, but that's for another video. So I'd like to ask you, are you ready to take personal responsibility for yourself? I hope you raise your hand and say, yes, Nancy, yes, I want this for myself. I want the best for myself. I'm willing to do this. And I tell you, it is really a sexy thing, because you're responsible for you. You're not waiting for anybody else to do things for you. The sky's the limit. And where I want you to start is to click this button and take my free course, which will help you figure out where you stand right now, because that is step number 1 in wealth building. Where do you stand right now? What's your net worth? That's what I'm talking about. Most people have no idea. And I'm not just picking on the ladies. Most people have no idea what their net worth is. And it's important to know what the number is. And I want you to, there's a spreadsheet and a couple of videos really quick. You can figure this out really fast. And that's step number 1. And then I want you to come back to me, and I want to work with you to help you understand your money better and get where you want to. I want you to set financial goals. And I think an excellent goal is to say, I want $1 million net worth. That's your first goal. And let's see what it's going to take to get you there. Okay. So check back with me, because I'm here to help you win with your money. Bye-bye.